Hello, coaches, and welcome to this edition of Give and Go Live. My name is David Newbury, and I'm joined by my colleague, Ian Barker. Hello, Ian.
Hello, coaches, and hello, David.
Ian, we're going to be looking at an activity taken from the 2016 convention featuring yourself. And this is a video that looks at an attacking team game with a central area that we use for building up, and then we get the ball into wide positions. So before we go into the video, let's have a look at the setup. We have a full field, or as we'll see in the convention, a small field, but nonetheless an area big enough to have 3 zones, a middle zone and then 2 end zones. And in the middle zone, we have another square that can be somewhere in the region of about a 20 by 20 yard square with 3 players from each team and an all-time offensive player. At each of the ends, we have 2 defenders and a goalkeeper against 1 attacker. And then in wide positions, each team has 2 bumper players, and we'll show you how those players get involved as we go through. So let's have a look at the video, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss the diagrams.
Carson, can you roll a couple of balls to the guys on the side? And can I see a ball? Young man, can you get me that one? So manipulating numbers up, numbers down situations. It's a little bit of a name drop, but I saw something similar to this done by Jose Mourinho with Real Madrid. And the guys in here were Kaká and Lux Diarra and Khedira and Ozil. We don't quite have that, but we've got something similar. So yellows and greens. Yellows and greens. 3 passes. Yep. And you kick it out to him or to him, the wide guys. So if the yellows and greens complete 3 passes, they're going to pass it to you or you, and I want you to drive at goal with your striker. Yep. And so there'll be 2 defenders, they'll have 2 wingers coming, and you'll have a striker to deal with. Fair enough? If you win it, just kick it back to the center box. Okay? Reds, if you dispossess yellows and greens, Owen, and you can get 3 passes with them, you guys will kick it out to that red player or that red player, and they'll go to that goal. So let's just walk through it. Let's have green and yellows complete 3 passes. 1, 2, 3. Find a yellow. Good. Go to goal, and we play. That's it. Good. No green, you stay out. Good. And I'll take the ball back here. We reset. Good. And now it's a red ball, and we play 3 passes. Can you find a red winger? Good. And we go. 3v2 to go. Good finish. Okay, excellent. Well done. Yeah, give him a round of applause. He scored a goal. Okay, yellow ball, and we play. Good, and we got drive to goal. Good, excellent. Okay, well done, and hold it there. Just hold it there, guys. Excellent job. What's your name, red defender? Bradley? Brandon. Excellent job of coming out and pressing him, right? Which made him respond to your pressure. So a great job there, because the defender decided we're not going to back off, we're going to come out and meet them. That's perfect. Now in here, if I give the ball to Owen on the red team, right, Owen, go to that cone over there, okay? And turn your back into the grid, because we're playing with you guys, right? Which way is your team attacking, Owen? Okay, so right now, what sort of position would you say you were in? What type of player are you in the game? An 8? Well, very good, okay. Which way are you facing?
I'm facing my defense.
Facing your own goal. So you've received it in here. Because we're not allowed to play out of the grid yet, what do you need behind you? I'm sorry, when I say behind you, I mean behind in the field. What do you need?
Support.
You need some support. So let's get him in a kind of a diamond shape. Get a little, 1 deeper, 1 wide and 1 wide there, right? Now, if this is the 3rd pass, play it to him. What's the instruction? Turn and play wide, right? If, though, this is the first pass, play it into him. What are you thinking about immediately? 2 there, what could be next? Well, you've got to get a third one in, haven't you? Yeah? So you could maybe start to open out here, and he could give it back to you and just play across you, right? Or you could clear out here and create a channel there, or you could see what, you know what I'm saying? So you can do a lot of different things in here. So I think in possession, let's go in a kind of a diamond. Yeah? Defensively, let's get the 2 yellows in the middle, because I'm going to give it to reds first. So get the 2 yellows in the middle, and we play. Get 3 off. Quick. Owen, move. Don't be transfixed. Yeah, bring it back in for red. Bring it back in for red. Can I see a ball? Yes, the passes restart. We get a finish. Good lad, well done. Ball in here, and we play. So it's a red ball. Oh, no, it's a yellow ball. 1, and 2, and 3. Can we find a winger? Good, well done. Played the way you're facing. Excellent. Okay, and hold it there. Roll the ball back to the center. So coaches, if you're watching and you're kind of getting the flow, now maybe you could start to say one of these guys could recover to defend, or one of these guys could go support to attack. So you can I see the ball? So right now here, I've had a 3 versus 2 to goal. But if I said a red could track back, we can even it up, but it's a recovery run. Or, check out, you can come in, so now I have a guy coming from deeper, 4 versus 2. Or maybe they both go, yeah? So we can create all kinds of dynamics here based on what we're trying to achieve. Back up for me. Let's just have a quick look. So the winger guys, come here and be the winger for me. You with me, X? Now, when you've got your winger there, what are your choices right now? What are the things you could do? So you could pass to him. Back up for me a little bit, X. So you could pass to him. What else could you do? Pass to him or keep it yourself, right? So I think 3 options: keep it yourself, pass to him, pass to him. If you decide to keep it yourself, which way are you going? Byline, right? You're going to go on the outside. So if you start driving there, go on, drive there for me, where are you going to start thinking about going? Okay, checking out and supporting and leaving him in, or come this way. As he drives there, go across the defender, across the front of him, go that way, yeah? No, that way. Right, so now you can come back in if he crosses it. If he starts to take up your space, what could you do? Yeah, come in and take the space he's vacated, right? So maybe it's a cutback. All right, just check out. Come back in here for me, young man. If you don't drive there, but you're going to keep it, where are you going now? Go on then, do it. All right, so if now he starts to contract the field here, so you can't be a deer in the head. So that's great. You're starting to flare out, and you can stay and keep your width. Now the space in the middle is yours. You've got a player trying to hold on side, or you can roll it across the front of him. You with me? Okay, can I go back one more time? So just a real quick, the 4 wide guys. When you get it, based on what you see, keep it, go wide, come across, play the pass in, support it however you choose to, or kick it out to your buddy out there. All right, you ready? Back up, X. Live off my touch and play. Go on. Okay, play from there and we go. Red ball. Can you find a winger? Can you find a winger? Good, and you turned out. Well done. Good lad. Okay, Damien, hold it there a sec, just for the coaches. So can you come back here, centre forward? So Damien, I'm not trying to pick on you all night, because it's not my big deal, right? So come here, young man. So when he came across here, yeah, come across, what was your choice? You cut it back to him, didn't you? Yeah. And you got it to him, which was brilliant, but which way is he facing and running? Yeah, he's kind of facing outside. So maybe he did that to create space for you. This guy didn't bite, so you could kick it out there, or you could drive in at him by yourself. And if you come in here and he holds his width, he's still a good option for you later. You see what I'm saying? So I thought that when he ran across you and you cut it back to him, it was very unselfish, but not maybe the best choice. You with me? All right, back in here, young man. Okay, back in with me, yellow. Come here, yellow. I'm going to give it to you, Damien. You do whatever you want to. All right? And play. All right, well done. And if you didn't fall over, we would have had a goal.
So Ian, now we've seen the video, let's talk about some of the particular nuances that relate to the strategies and the coaching points.
Yeah, so really happy with the video because the first thing is we've got this rondo grid in here. So you put your midfielders into this space and there's a challenge in there, which would replicate some sort of central midfield challenge in the real game. In the example we've got here, we've got a 3 reds, 3 yellows, and 1 king player or 1 all-time offense. In the video we just watched, it was kind of difficult to see, but it was actually 2 greens that were all-time offense against 2 reds and 2 yellows. So it was actually a 4 versus 2. But you can manipulate that grid any way you want. In the top end of the field, I'm working on the principle that our team plays with 3 forwards. So I've got the 2 wide guys and the 1 central guy. And then I've got them opposed by 2 defenders. So we're going to have a lot of success early on, hopefully because we've got a numerical advantage. And this 1, 2, 3 shape is actually the shape of our real team. Now, maybe you play with 3 up top. If you played with 2 up top, perhaps you would actually start with 2 center forwards in here. So it'd be a 2v2. And when the ball comes out of the central grid, it would be more direct. But in this particular case, I've tried to make the relevance of what happens in this grid here connect to the relevance of us going forward, which is to have a 3-person attack. A couple of other little things that the kids on the video did very well with was after a while we explored the idea that this 3v2 could become a 3v3 if we let a defender recover. It could become a 4 versus 2 if we let a midfielder support in the attack, and we can change that dynamic. But most importantly for me, we've got the field set up in a game-like scenario, but we've got just tons of repetition coming from this grid in looking at how we develop an attack, be it that way or be it that way. So this is a great training game for getting tons of repetition in what would be your ultimate game scenario.
So Ian, we've seen the ball being passed out wide, and now we have the bumper or wide player now coming in field with the ball on the dribble. And that means that now the emphasis is no longer on what's happening in the middle square, but now what's happening in the attacking third with the movement of players. And we see here we have a striker who eventually gets a shot on goal, who's now moved in order to create that space. And now we've got a 3 versus 2 against the goalkeeper. So Ian, let's talk about some of the methods we might see as we progress into that final third.
Well, what we've diagrammed nicely here is, and it comes out in the video, is this winger has chosen to commit the defender. So they've made an aggressive dribble. And if you look, they've actually got deeper on the field than the forward who has checked out. So the forward has created some space for themselves, and there's an angle of support between the forward and this winger. And that has allowed we've drawn 1 defender here. This defender's a little bit frozen, and we've actually got space now for our striker to get the ball and shoot. And then our third player is on the move to come in with what would be rebounds and following up here. They haven't come running across the field directly to really get in the way of their own teammate. So you can start to see how the decision potentially of the person on the wide that collects it, how he or she can really dictate things. In this case, they've driven fairly diagonally at the field, but they could maybe dribble across, or they could dribble to the end line, or they could certainly receive the ball and immediately switch it to the other side, or they could hit their striker. So there's a number of different things the wide player can do, which will change the way that the defenders react. And what was nice in our video was that the defenders actually came out to meet the wide players. And what we hadn't got to in the video, but is something you should absolutely introduce after a while, would be the concept of offside. So now the 3 against 2, the 3 have to be very mindful about maintaining their onside position.
And in our final diagram, we now see the restart. So earlier on in Give and Go, we saw a make it, take it scenario. This time, we're going to allow the coach to make the decision on who gets possession. And this time gives it back to the opponent, the yellow team, who now combines in the central area for 3 passes. The ball is now transferred wide. And instead of there being a combination, the player wide has come inside slightly and found the opportunity to bend one in, as we see quite often now in professional soccer, with the player coming in off the left-hand side as a right-footed player and the opportunity to bend that ball in there, Ian.
Yeah, so what we've got here diagrammed nicely is we've got the scenario where you can send one of the midfielders from the box to support an attack. So we've got a 4 versus 2. That being the case, we should score more often than not. And so consequently, as soon as that ball goes in the net, I, as the coach, would play the ball into the center grid. The red team will have a numerical advantage while this player recovers, and hopefully they can get their passes off and then go 4 versus 2 the other way. So there's a great opportunity here for a lot of flow. Should the 2 defenders win it, should this red player here perhaps intercept it, there's 2 things could happen. Either they've got to get it back to the coach, which would be fair, or they can play it directly into the center grid, and then our sequence starts again, and the Reds go this way. So you can really create a significant amount of logical flow depending on where the service comes from. And very often, I, like the coach, we use the acronym BOB, boss of the balls, that the coach can dictate how quickly the transition occurs and potentially play it to one team or the other to emphasize the numerical advantage.
Well, Ian, thank you for your time today, and thank you, coaches, for joining us on this edition of Give and Go Live.